If it's your first time cruising Alaska, there are some things that you should probably know before you set foot on the ship. I've put together 10 tips that I want to tell you about. Some of them you're not going to hear from anywhere else because they're a little bit offbeat. By the way, my name is Jeff, and I'd like to thank you for watching my channel, Backroads Tourist. The first tip I want to give you is very important. Be prepared for rain. The great state of Alaska has a lot of different ecosystems, but the one you'll probably most often encounter on a cruise is a coastal rainforest. Now, the very word rainforest should give you a clue about what to expect. Take a small umbrella with you when you go out and pick up a raincoat or a rain poncho too. My wife and I usually get ours at a dollar store before we leave home. Now, you're probably going to be able to find them in gift shops, but you're also going to be paying tourist prices for them, so I'd recommend getting them at home and throwing them in your luggage. They don't take up a whole lot of room, and you're going to be happy to have them if you need them. The next tip is sort of related to the first one. Pack a pair of grungy shoes. Shoes you won't mind if they get wet or muddy. Depending on what you plan to do that day, your shoes can certainly take a beating. I usually take a pair that I wear for mowing. Now, I've had these for years, and it probably shows. They're comfortable, they're tough, and they don't look out of place if I'm walking a trail or looking for whales on an excursion. Extra points to you if you bring shoes that are water repellent. Tip number 3 is for you, especially if you have younger children. There are a ton of buildings in Alaska that at one time or another have served as houses of ill repute, and many places are happy to let you know about their naughty history. Some even offer tours or have displays that show the working conditions for the girls at the time. A prime example is Creek Street in Ketchikan. Creek Street used to be the red light district of town, and although it's filled with trendy shops now, they still sort of embrace the old days, so just be prepared that you might have to do some explaining if your children start asking questions about the pictures of the pretty ladies. If you're looking for a unique souvenir or a gift for someone back home, you may want to consider getting an ulu, which is a traditional knife used for everything from skinning to cooking to cutting hair. You can find cheap ones in gift shops or more expensive ones made with exotic woods, antlers, or even mammoth tusk for the handles. Now, these can run you several hundreds of dollars, but something you need to know is that when you come back to the ship, security may and probably will confiscate the ulu and hold it for you until the end of the cruise. This would also be the case with any other knives that you may buy import. These would be considered weapons, and weapons aren't allowed on board. So that's tip number 4. Let's move right on to tip number 5. Expect crowds. Cruising to Alaska has become even more popular recently. So popular that some ports are trying to limit the number of cruisers who can visit each day. There will be lines and waits to get into some popular venues like the Red Dog Saloon. You may want to think about booking your excursions early just to make sure they're not sold out. Also, make sure you pack your patience. With the possibility of several ships being in port at the same time, shops are going to be overcrowded. It's going to be harder for large groups to be seated together at restaurants, and you may find that wait times for just about everything are a little bit longer. 5 more tips for cruising Alaska are coming up. Hey, remember to give this video a like if you find it interesting or helpful. Hitting that thumbs up button only takes a second of your time, and it really helps this channel out a lot. The Backroads Tourist channel also gives you other cruising and travel tips, as well as news about your favorite cruise lines, and occasionally I put together a video highlighting my visits to quirky, strange, or interesting places both around the United States and around the world. If you decide to become a subscriber to this scrappy little channel, you'll be the first to know when new videos are uploaded, and I usually do that at least a few times each week. So click that subscribe button now and join us. I'd appreciate it. Let's get back to the tips for cruising Alaska. If you're like me and you enjoy seeing unusual and quirky things, well, you can find a bunch of them in Alaska. One of my favorite places to do research is roadsideamerica.com. AtlasObscura.com is also a great resource, but sometimes you just stumble onto weird things, like this mammoth made of spark plugs in downtown Ketchikan. Tip number 7. Yes, there are mosquitoes in Alaska, but you may not have too many problems with them. See, along the coast, it's probably going to be rainy and a little windy, and mosquitoes don't like either of those conditions. We've cruised to Alaska 3 times, and we have never gotten a single mosquito bite. If you have an excursion that takes you into the woods a little bit more, you're probably going to have a better chance of getting bitten. So if you want to bring a little bottle of mosquito repellent, I wouldn't blame you, but there's a good chance you're not going to need it. My 8th suggestion is for you wildlife lovers. You can see a lot of wildlife right from your ship, but you have to know where to look. Sailing out of Ketchikan, we've always seen bald eagles. They're either flying overhead or sitting on poles or in trees. When you're cruising near a glacier and you see an ice floe passing by your ship, make extra sure you take a closer look. Many times you're going to see seals or otters resting on the ice floes. When it comes to whales, well, it's a bit more tricky. You need to have some patience, and you need to be looking at the right place at the right time. Usually, you'll only be able to see a whale for a second or two when they come up for air. Now, if you're lucky, you're going to get to see a whale tail. And if you're very lucky, you may see one breach. If seeing a whale in Alaska is something that's on your bucket list, I'd recommend booking a whale watching excursion. Many of them guarantee a whale sighting, and they're in contact with other boats in the area to pinpoint exactly where the whales are. My 9th tip for you goes hand in hand with the 8th tip that I just gave you. It's kind of a personal preference, though. The first 2 cruises we took to Alaska, we packed 2 pairs of binoculars just to look for wildlife. But I found that during the entire 7-day cruise, I spent maybe a total of 10 minutes looking through the binoculars. I really didn't use them as much as I thought I would, so on our last cruise, we just left them at home. For us, it wasn't worth the room they took up in our suitcases to bring them along. Again, that's just what we experienced, and you may be different. If you feel like you're going to be spending hours scanning the coastline for bears, moose, or Bigfoot, you go right ahead. And here we are, my friends. We're at tip number 10. Hey, if you're getting some value out of this, please remember to give this video a like. My 10th piece of advice to you is to take the time to attend some of the lectures that your cruise ship may be offering. More often than not, I found them to be very interesting. Now, in the past, we've gone to lectures on, among other things, the whales of Alaska, totem poles and the traditions of the indigenous people, and a very interesting lecture by Libby Riddles, the first woman to win the Iditarod dog sled race back in 1985. We found these lectures to be both fun and interesting, plus you get a little bit of an education, and that's always a good thing, right? Hey, if you're going on your very first cruise to Alaska this year, you're going to have a great time. The beauty you're going to see is going to be amazing. Now, if you're a seasoned Alaska cruiser, what other tips would you like to give to someone who's never been before? Let us know in the comment section below. Hey, thank you so much for clicking on the Backroads Tourist channel today. I appreciate it, and I certainly appreciate you. I'm Jeff. I hope to see you on a future cruise.